And we'll let it fill. By the way, I should warn you, dorks. I hope somebody has looked at Bloomburrow because I have not.
I
Some
have
tech.
not looked at the whole thing. I've scanned it and I watched the video that they did on at the beginning of previews, and I've checked it from time to time. But I haven't seen nearly all of it, so there's some stuff I'm sure that's gonna be like, whoa, new to me. But
No, I mean,
it's
like,
not
I
a
haven't even looked at the mechanics. I don't know anything about this set other than Furry
okay.
Ravnica.
That I'm good for that. So yeah.
Also, it looks like they've changed what the Wizards homepage looks like, so I'm gonna have to mess. I'm gonna have to mess with the with the screen live on the air. That's always good. That's okay. I'll do it while you guys are introducing yourselves. Lord have mercy. So, I guess I could just zoom this in a couple times. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, that fits on the screen. Okay, nice. All right, so here we go. Once I find the proper screen to put it back on. There we go. Oh, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. For real, though, we're back. This is episode 702 of the Mana Pool. Considering how long ago episode 700 it was, that's kind of sad. And I am Chewy, the lead dork, and I got all these other dorks here too. Hello, dorks.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead Rambler Tangent Master of the group. We got a lot to go through, so yay, bunnies.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff for us to talk about since we haven't done anything yet. Yay, possums.
Dirk?
Dirk on mute. Oh,
Probably.
I'm here. So, I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And it's been a little while.
Yeah, it has.
Not gonna yay at a random woodland creature. Okay, fine.
Nah, I'm not any woodland creature.
But
Uh,
I will yay raccoons then because they're little criminals and they have almost human hands and they freak me out.
I really thought he was going to go for lizards since it's as close to a salamander as he's going to come. But
True. So,
okay.
if you're wondering where we've been for the last almost 2 months, we recorded a separate thing for that. That will be, if you're listening to this not live, then that's already been posted. Go check that out. It'll be on the podcast feed and on the YouTube channel. But we've been gone for 2 months, accidentally, and we're back now. You guys only went a month
Yes.
at a time without an
On
episode,
purpose.
so you might not have noticed it was 2 months.
We felt it.
Yeah,
We felt
it's
the
been
absence.
bugging me. But all right, let's talk about Bloomburrow.
Bloomburrow.
Or
Bloomburrow is
Furry Ravnica, as I've been calling it.
yeah. Bloomburrow is set in the world of Valley. Although it's interesting reading the stories because they kind of use the words Valley and Bloomburrow almost interchangeably. But it's a cute, cuddly animals type set. Think of Redwall, um, and even human and other creatures that planeswalkers that come here end up assuming the form of one of its natural inhabitants. Ral Zarek planeswalks here and becomes an otter. Aww. And then there's a special set of cards in this set that are not standard playable, but have some of your favorite question mark planeswalkers and other legendary creatures, but furrified. And the example they gave in the video was Jace the Mind Sculptor is being reprinted, but as a fox. So he's foxy. But as far as the set itself, as Chewy said, there's a very strong multicolor theme, but every animal type, like rabbits, mice, squirrels, is centrally located within a two-color pair, like bats are black and white. But we can get to that in a little bit. Should we talk about the mechanics, the new mechanics and returning mechanics to Bloomburrow?
Sure.
Okay, so hey, everybody. Well, no, I was gonna say not everybody. Dirk and I have what do Dirk and I have in common that you guys don't have that you know of?
You're both balding.
We are, but
Yeah.
so are you. No, no,
I
you still
mean,
have a long hair.
mine's creeping from the front back.
No, Dirk and I have or have had babies. Our babies are not so
Bonds
babies
of
anymore.
us.
Yeah, mine is a teenager, and you have a teenager now too. So, right?
I do.
As of a couple months ago. So, the first new mechanic is
Ugh.
offspring. Why not take your babies to work with you? And we're into battle. So,
Yeah.
yeah, uh, creatures will have some of the creatures in the set will have the offspring ability, which is just as interesting as you think it might. This is apparently safe for work, but hey, uh, and how it works is it'll have offspring and have a mana cost. And when you cast the spell, it's essentially a form of kicker. And if you pay the offspring cost, you, in addition to the creature card that you get a 1/1 token that is a copy of the original card. And that is important because it maintains all the same abilities. So the example here in the mechanics article is Tender Wild Guide. It is a possum druid. It's a rare and it costs 1 and a green. So it's a bear, although it's a possum. It it's a 2/2 for 2. So it really is a bear possum. But it's a possum druid. Don't let that confuse you.
Bear possum druid.
It has
Goblin,
offspring
common,
of
shaman.
yes. It has offspring of 2 generic mana, so you pay 1 and a green just for the 2/2. But if you pay an additional 2 as you cast it, you get a 1/1 copy of it, and it's his little baby. And this card has tap, add 1 mana of any color, so it's a bird of paradise.
Which
Or
is
tap
gross on a 2/2.
is gross on
Yeah.
2/2, and it
Because you
also
can't just
has tap.
easily ping
Yeah,
it. It has combat capability if you don't need
yeah.
the mana of any color. That a 2/2 for 2 with a Birds of Paradise ability? That's insane, right?
Good stuff.
It's pretty good. And then its second ability is tap, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature with no additional mana cost or anything. Like pay a green. No, it's just tap, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Luckily, it's it can only target itself with that. That's good
Yeah.
because if it
I
was
mean,
just
it essentially costs a mana because you're tapping it for that instead of tapping it
true.
for mana.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what
then
just
now
happened?
if you
Oh, Dirk resubbed. Hey,
oh
thanks,
cool.
buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you pay the offspring, you also get the 1/1 token that that can also not only can put counters on itself, but all of a sudden you're up 2 mana next turn if they both survive. And yes, the creatures that have offspring do have custom tokens, which I got to admit, I know we may be a bit cynical about cash grabs, it is awfully cute. If you scroll down a bit in the mechanics article, you do see the token that is the Tender Wild Guide.
With the reminder
I
text that this token's mana cost is 1 and a green. That is nice
correct
reminder text.
that it because it is a copy of the original. It's just a base 1/1. I
Yeah, that's
believe
important.
there's at least one card in the set that says your creature spells have offspring. So obviously, you're not gonna have a token for every possible creature. Also, keep in mind if your legendary creature has offspring, that offspring would still be legendary, so be careful with that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hey,
that's
Mike resub too.
so that is how offspring works. Any questions about or comments about offspring before we keep moving, since we got other stuff to talk about?
It is by
Make
far
babies, take them
the
to work.
it is by far the most adorable version of Kicker we've ever had.
Yeah.
It is quite cute.
I feel like Kicker is like what's it called, cankerization, where there's been like multiple lineages of arthropods that have evolved into crabs through different, like completely independently. There's
Yep.
just a lot of mechanics, because crabs are awesome. There's a lot of mechanics that just end up being Kicker because Kicker is awesome.
I mean, yeah, the only mistake they may have ever been was making Kicker in the first place. And I'm not saying that it was a mistake. It's very good. The problem is that it's so
Yeah, they
universal.
started with the most generic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now it's almost like, again, this is Kicker. It's just a very specific Kicker. So,
Yeah.
okay.
There are a lot of really cool designs because there are several examples where the creature has a static ability that affects the board. There's several designs where the creature has an enter battlefield ability. It's just really cool.
The Anthem ones are really good
Mm.
because,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Okay, we got the answer in chat. Carcinization is the crab thing. I used the wrong fancy word.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Shira.
I figured you guys were talking about a science thing, and I was just like, uh-huh. 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 Hey, Mike, I got you something.
What did you get me?
I gave you the next mechanic.
Awesome. So the next mechanic is
I
gift.
I don't know if I hate you more or less because of that, but
The next mechanic is gift, and this is a thing where it'll tell you gift something, and there'll be some reminder text to help you figure it out if it's a little if it takes some thinking to figure it out. But you either get a basic effect from the card or some kind of modification to effect if you actually gave the gift. And it's called promising a gift when you actually do it. The example here is a rare card. It's called Kidnap, and it's a rare aura. It's an enchantment with enchant creature, costs 2 and blue. So you can gift a card. This is like the most basic version of gift here. And gifting, where it says gift a card, the reminder text says you may promise an opponent a gift as you cast a spell. If you do, when it enters, they draw a card. So that's the gift. Them drawing a card is you gifting them the card like you promised. So enchant creature. When Kidnap enters, tap enchanted creature. If the gift wasn't promised, put 3 stun counters on it. You control enchanted creature. So for Kidnap, the way the gifting works here, if you don't give the gift, it just basically becomes a removal spell. You tap the creature, steal it, but it has 3 stun counters on it, so it's just going to sit there.
It's going to take a long time for you to use it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you do promise the gift, then it doesn't get stunned, so you can go to town with it. Now, there's another example. There are different kind of gifts that you can give. So the gift for this next example, Parting Gust, is gift a tapped fish. And the reminder text helps you out there because that needs some help. And this one, the gift for your opponent is a tapped 1/1 blue fish creature token. Yeah. So Parting Gust for white, it's an uncommon instant. I'll target non-token creature. If the gift wasn't promised, return that creature to the field under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. So it can just be, exile something straight out if you do give your opponent a fish. It could be temporary exile of one of your opponent's things if you don't want to give them a fish, or it could be a useful, blink effect on your own creature. And you don't have to give anyone a fish unless you really want to exile your own creature permanently. I don't know why you would want to do that. But yeah, there's lots of different things that the gifting can be applied to and a few different forms it can take.
You might guess that this is one of my favorite mechanics because what type of decks do I love? I love all types of decks, but one of my favorite types, group hug decks. And a little bit of like I'm getting something. Here's something for you. Sorry I burned down your village. Have some
Here's a
gold.
fish.
The other thing you probably noticed with the names of these two cards is the other thing you may have noticed with the names of these two cards, they were very upfront with this in the preview video, and in the like they then went into an hour long like coming attractions thing after that. They are very up with the puns in this set, like puns everywhere. So get ready to roll your eyes so hard they might just fall out. Kidnap. Hmm. But yeah, I think gift is an interesting mechanic.
Also, JT Huffy just resubbed for the 60th month. That is 5 years.
That is not a small
Dedication.
number.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is as Razorback pointed out, this is also kicker.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kicker of give something to somebody else.
Yeah. But it's very strange.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you this
know-
fish if you'll if you'll let me blink this creature and put a counter on it. Oh wait. I won't.
No, giving a fish makes
Sorry.
it go away forever.
Yeah, I won't give you this fish unless you let me get rid of that creature. Hey man, if you get rid of that, I got a nice shiny fish for you. Oh, a fish!
It's definitely a card with a lot of versatility to it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what isn't kicker? Forage.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Chewy.
I was going to say
I know
flying, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a regular like combat ability.
I mean everything but kicker. But yeah, Chewy, why don't you take forage? It's fairly easy to understand.
Oh, thank you.
Just read the example card and it will spell it out.
I do know how to learn how cards work, Brian. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Didn't want to put too much on you.
I told them, hey, I hope you guys have read stuff about this because I have not even looked at the mechanics or anything because, I've had other stuff in life going on. And now Brian is treating me like I'm a child. So,
Now.
forage is apparently what the squirrels get. I don't know anything about forage. The example here is the Osteomancer Adept, which I already don't like the sound of that. Because Osteomancer, isn't that a
Like a
bone magician?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Osteomancer Adept is a... I'm sorry, is a squirrel warlock.
Yes.
Sorry, I can do this. The Osteomancer Adept is a rare squirrel warlock. I can't get through it. Huh. I don't know why, but that creature type makes me giggle. All right, it's a 2/2 for 1 and a black with Death Touch. Squirrel warlock. And it says,
You can do this. You can do this.
Let me just cover up the creature type with my finger. There we go. It says, tap. Until end of turn, you may cast creature spells from your graveyard by foraging in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. So the finality counter means that if it would die, it exiles instead, right? Did I remember that right?
Right.
I think of it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember if it's just die or if it's go to any zone at all.
No, it's
but at
it's
least
just die.
Dying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so the reminder text says, to forage, exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food. If a it says it right here. If a creature with a finality counter on it would die, exile it instead.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, so
RTF.
foraging is an additional cost?
Yeah, it's an optional cost that shows up in certain effects. It's like if you
So
can
it's kicker.
forage to do a thing.
It's well, but this is an
It also
activated
shows up
ability,
in
That's
so
true.
yeah.
it shows up in this activated ability. It shows up in triggered abilities.
Oh.
I can't remember if it shows up in spells as alternate additional costs. I don't remember. We'll have to see in the card image gallery.
So this is cool. You exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrifice a food to forage. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
If you
neat.
have a way to make food, that's obviously a lot easier than exiling 3 cards from your graveyard. That's going to take some time to set up. But what this does is it allows this to be very versatile, and you don't have to play it with food. You can just play this in a black deck.
Yeah.
So I like that. I'm a fan of, this is kind of the opposite of Arcane and Splice, where that was so insular. Those mechanics did not work outside of the set the block they were printed in. And this is like, hey, here's something you can use, but in this set, and the squirrels make a lot of food, so you're gonna be good with this. But also, food's been around for a while, and if when in doubt, just exile some cards. But the strong push toward food, because again, 3 is a lot. And notice that this, as soon as you activate this with the Squirrel Warlock here, the rare Squirrel Warlock, as soon as you activate him, you can cast any number of creature spells from your graveyard this turn. But if you're having to exile 3 cards for every one of those, your graveyard's going to go away very quickly, even if you've spent some time on it.
Yeah,
So
like that was the point I was gonna make. Is if you don't have food and you want to bring back 2 creatures from your graveyard, you need 8 cards in your graveyard minimum. The 2 that you want, and then 3 for each
Yeah.
one of
yes,
them.
yeah,
So that's gonna make your graveyard evaporate real quick unless you're making food.
yes.
Yeah. Hang on, I gotta scroll back up to the offspring token just to clear my brain. Oh, look at him! Oh, he's got his little tongue out. I didn't see.
Yeah, he's
All right.
got his little concentration tongue.
I'm better now.
Hey, Dirk, there's a
Warlock.
white-red mechanic coming up that is all about you.
The Valiant mechanic.
Yes.
Is a new ability that highlights triggered abilities that trigger whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn.
Yeah. Read the Seed Glaive Mentor.
All right, so the Seed Glaive Mentor for 1 red, white is a 3/2 mouse soldier that is common. It has vigilance. Uncommon, my bad. It has vigilance and haste. And has Valiant. Whenever Seed Glaive Mentor becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah. So obviously, if your opponent targets it with something, no benefit. But if you're pumping it or equipping it, it'll get the bonus, but it's limited to
Oh,
one
good
time.
lord.
Yeah, they said that when they were designing this, they were acknowledging that equipping is going to be one of the easiest ways to trigger this. This is you compare this to the heroic mechanic, and heroic was every time you target it. This is limited to the first time, which is not only less headache inducing for your opponent, but a lot easier to track. So you do it
Heroic
one time, you get
spells
what?
versus abilities.
True.
But yeah, you're right. The one time makes it a lot easier. And since they wanted to add abilities, you avoid creating another like cephalid breakfast combo problem.
Right. Good
Hey,
old
Mike, you go to
breakfast
hell.
of squids. Hey, he said avoid it.
How dare you
Nope.
bring up such evil black magic?
Nope. Nobody wants the squid breakfast anymore. I promise you.
So yeah, it's nice and simple, and mostly combat related, as
Yeah.
any good red-white mechanic should be.
Yes. but it's a lot less awkward than some. Like, was it Legion where you have to attack with 3 creatures? It just this just feels very clean. So
Look, Mike, you've done a horrible thing to poor Donovan Bain's brain. He's just
Oh,
logged
no.
in, and the first words I hear are cephalid breakfast. We apologize to anyone that might have had a flashback.
okay, the last of the new mechanics. Well, the last major one, then there's something that's only used on a handful of cards, is expend. And this is so I said the last mechanic was fairly clean. This is so intuitive. All you have to do is just keep casting spells. So this is centered in red and green, which is raccoons. And what do raccoons do? They go through your trash or your Cybertruck if it thinks your Cybertruck looks like trash. But um,
That has made me
expend
so happy, by the way.
e- expend will have a number next to it, usually 4, but there are some that are higher than that. And basically, there are cards with expend are looking for when you cast a spell or spells during your turn. Um, for the first time getting to that amount. I'm phrasing that poorly.
You
You know
really
what? I'm
are,
just
but
gonna
that's your thing. So, whenever you are spending mana to cast spells, the game is remembering that for expend, essentially. So if you cast a 3-drop, you have expended 3. If you then play a 1-drop after that, now you've expended 4, and the Junk Blade Bruiser here that we haven't talked about yet will happen. It will trigger.
right.
And this also it
So
says during a turn. It doesn't say during your turn. So if you're casting spells
correct.
on your opponent's turns, it keeps track of it there too, but it resets
Yes.
every turn. So during my
It
turn, I spend 4, cool. During your turn, I spend 4, cool. But I can't do 2 here and 2 there and have it trigger.
yeah.
That's not how that
Yeah.
works. Stop it.
Correct. And the thing to note about during opponents' turns, especially multiplayer, you can keep getting this to trigger as long as you're spending at least that much on that person's turn. But I do believe that they wanted this to be like play big spells, so I don't think it goes less than expend 4. So at a certain point, unless you're one of those players with infinite mana and all that, you're probably going to run out of mana. But here's the example: Junk Blade Bruiser for 3, and look at this hybrid. We have 2 red-green hybrid symbols. For a raccoon berserker, and you look at the art and you're like, yeah,
That is
I
absolutely
get
a
it.
Raccoon Berserker. Yeah.
This is a common. It's a 4/5 with trample. So remember 4/5 for 4 with trample, which is pretty decent for a
Pretty sick.
common.
Yeah.
And whenever you expend 4, he gets +2/+1 until end of turn. So he'll become a 6/6 with no other pumping.
Oh.
Each scrap shed from her battle axe is more likely to end up stored permanently in an opponent's skull. Cute and fuzzy creatures, yay!
Even though it says enemy skull, Brian's brain somehow brought up the word opponent.
Oh, did I say
That's
opponent?
tough.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, I made it even darker.
So here is a question that I'm sure is answered further down below, but I want to ask it for anyone who is new to this still. Once you hit 4 mana in a turn, you've expended 4. But if you spend
Correct.
8 mana in a turn, you're not expending 4 twice, right?
Correct. It's just the first time you get to 4.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Jay Spencer says,
An
doesn't
ability
it just say raccoon? Isn't berserker another word for raccoon? No, criminal is another word for raccoon.
It is looking for the 4th mana, not every 4th mana. So.
Exactly. Donovan Bain said, I love this mechanic. It combines green's love of mana and red's love of everything must happen right now. And that is a damn good point.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
This is a very good intersection.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
I like it.
I really like the feel of this, the way it just encourages, hey, it's like you're you're playing the game. You're playing Magic. Isn't that awesome? Here's this reward for playing Magic. It's like, thank you.
You're playing red and green correctly. Good job. And then the last thing that they mentioned in the mechanics article, they don't go into all the different color combinations for the animals and all that sort of stuff. Is kind of a unique mechanic. Mike, why don't you talk about this one? Shows up on a cycle of cards.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, this.
So these are this paw print mechanic that shows up on the season cards, and there's one season spell in each color, and it's a very interesting way to do modes and getting to customize your own effect. So all of them have the same basic structure, and the example given here is Season of Weaving. It costs 4 blue. It's a mythic sorcery. So here's the thing they all have. Choose up to 5 paw print symbols worth of modes. You may choose the same mode more than once. And it has 3 choices for modes, and each of them has a different number of paw prints associated with it. So the first one listed here is just 1 paw print, and it says draw a card. The second option is worth 2 paw prints. It says choose an artifact or creature you control, create a token that's a copy of it. And the final one that's worth 3 paw prints says return each non-land, non-token permanent to its owner's hand. So yeah, there's lots of different things that can go on here.
Yeah, you could draw 5 cards.
You could draw 5 cards. That's good for 6 mana sorcery speed. I mean,
yeah,
spending 6 mana on a single thing is a big deal, but hey, drawing 5 cards is also a big deal. You could make a token copy of one of your things and then bounce every non-land, non-token permanent. That's important. So that means you get to keep the token copy that you just made.
Bounce
as
everything and draw 2
always,
cards.
Mm-hmm.
as always, you do, and they did talk about these on the video. There were a couple things they wanted to clarify, but this works like a Magic card should work. There's no new rules associated with this. You resolve these top to bottom. So even if you choose draw 2 cards and return each non-land, non-token permanent, you draw the cards, then you do the last effect. So always top to bottom. The other thing, and I think this is
because otherwise, if you try to return all the non-land, non-token permanents and then make a copy of something, the game will go.
yeah. And this also comes into effect with there's one of these in each color, so there's others where the order matters as well. And then somebody in, I think they either anticipated this question or it actually was a question that came up during the chat because this was live. Was like, what if you play 2 of these and you save like the first 5 prints or whatever for this? You can't save them up. It is literally just when you play.
It's not like energy. It's not like
Correct.
you get 5 paw prints and you set them over here. No, this is just for this resolving spell.
And I think this is very intuitive. I think it was almost a stretch to even have that question, but there you go. So
Yeah. So Chifuji said I better get my desk ready to slap, so hang on, let me move stuff out of the way. These cards are more options, more better. And yeah, these are all like there's an entire cycle of these, and they're basically one of those playtest card things from whatever it was. I don't even know, but there was one of those like this.
Oh yeah.
And now they've turned that into a real cycle of cards
from like the Great Designer Search. Yeah.
No, from those special convention boosters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Sorry.
that is really neat that there are Gavin's playtest card called Pick Your Poison. There we go. Thank you, Chifuji. And yeah, Razorback pointed out, you don't have to use all the paw prints if there's some bizarre reason that you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, like if you really need to draw 2 cards and nothing else, and you would actually lose if you drew 3 or more, sure, do that. See if it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time you're going to want to use all 5 paw prints.
But it does specify up to 5, so
Mm-hmm.
like if you really just want to make 2 copies of creatures or artifacts and then not draw any cards, you can. Weirdo.
Or if you got a full hand and you can only bounce everything on the board, then
Yeah.
you know.
Your opponent's got 16 Megrams out, and if you overdraw, you're screwed. You know, whatever. I hate those people with 16 Megrams out. I could be that person.
Aren't you one of those people? Yeah, I was just thinking.
Shut up. So yeah, that is what we've got in the what's the word? Mechanics article. We've got kicker, adorable kicker, generous kicker, bone magic, squirrel warlock, a red-white combat mechanic, a really good red-green mechanic, and not energy.
There you go.
The first time I saw this, I was like, "Oh, that's not an energy symbol. What the hell is that?" It's like, why would there be energy in this set? Oh, there's not. Oh, they're paw prints. It's
Paw
just
print
a
energy.
casting cost, not casting cost. Damn it, you know what I mean. Each one costs stuff, all right? God. All right. So now what? Should we... Is there an article that tells us like about the color combinations, or should we just screw it and jump into the card image gallery?
I would just jump in.
All right.
One
So
thing I want to say, I was pretty happy to see the art for Chunkblade Bruiser, and that they're still asking Omar Ryan to come back and do stuff. I think he first started doing stuff in Lorwyn, and this set is a really good opportunity for him to come back and do some more.
mhm. And I guess we should mention at the outset, yes, there are different versions of art. And I know some people really like that, but for me, after a while, it gets confusing. But here you've got, woodland treatment, some of the calamity beasts, which are kind of some of the antagonists. These elemental forces of nature have like a nature sort of journal look to them. So, and there's some anime cards, of course. But should we talk about the Planeswalker first?
I mean,
Like the one that's actually in the set?
sure,
Or,
why not? Let's see
okay.
here.
Look for Ral Crackling Wit, not crickling.
Here he
Crackling.
is. Yeah, I mean, I knew who it was. I just had to scroll there.
Okay. What's he do?
Well, he's an otter.
Yep.
Because apparently the otters are the Izzet colors on this here plane. And Ral is, as you might know, Izzet. Yes, it is.
It's kind of low-key hilarious in the story. He keeps forgetting he has a tail.
I mean, yeah. If you've never had a tail, and you suddenly had a tail, and it wasn't your idea,
Yeah.
fairly
Not
certain
even
you would trip over the damn thing multiple times.
He didn't even know he was going here. He was trying to follow Jace's trail, and he showed up here, and he's like, he feels his face. He's like, damn it. So he's an otter.
Yeah. Okay, so Ral Crackling Wit for 2, a blue and a red, is a 4 loyalty planeswalker who says whenever he's mythic, because apparently that's a thing they've gone back to now. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a loyalty counter on Ral Crackling Wit. Oh. That's cool. All right. His +1 is create a 1/1 blue and red otter with prowess.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. A 4-mana planeswalker whose +1 is create something to protect it. Dang.
Yes. Good.
These are things we've talked about for a decade now, it seems.
Yes. Yeah. Over.
I don't remember how long it's been since Lorwyn, but oh no, it's been way longer than that because
Lorwyn was the set that came out right before we started. So literally 17 years. Yeah.
So we've been talking about this principle for almost 2 decades now. But a planeswalker that can create something to protect itself is very good. All right, so his -3 is draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. That's freaking awesome. That is super solid. And then his limit break is -10. What? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's -10.
Yeah.
Draw 3 cards. That's not the what. You get an emblem with instant and sorcery spells you cast have storm. What?
Yeah.
That's worth 10 loyalty.
That is. So
especially since this dude gets loyalty like in other ways and gets it quick. Like getting a free loyalty every time you cast a non-creature spell is gross.
He starts with 4, so there will be some work here. But what Storm means is when you cast this spell, create a copy of this spell for every other spell you've cast this turn. So if it's the first spell you've cast this turn, you don't get a copy. But if it's the second spell you cast this turn, you get the original and 1 more. And if every instant and sorcery spell you cast as Storm, that's kind of interesting. Kind of insane. I'm sorry. Just so you know, Storm does not otherwise appear in this set. Storm does not otherwise appear in Standard. It's not in Modern because the cutoff for Modern was Scourge. And in fact, Mark Rosewater, when discussing how likely mechanics were to come back, to be reprinted, especially in Standard, create a scale called the Storm
Scale. Yeah.
Scale. Because it was never going to come back. And so here it is, but this is not this automatic thing. You do have to work for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's eye-catching, absolutely.
So I do want to point out something that I've seen before, but Violet just said it in the chat, is that Ral is very grumpy about being an otter, even though he's totally an otter even when he's human. And I said, please explain that. So Violet said, it's gay male slang for, as I understand it, a small-statured, often muscular, hairy guy. So, like a small bear or a hairy twink. And it's really funny because Ralzeric is gay in the story, like canonically. He has a husband, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tomek, who works for the Orzhov.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the fact that he came to the furry plane and was an otter is like...
So, Brian, I went back and verified, there is Storm in Modern, because there were some Storm cards printed in Time Spiral Block, and there were some printed directly in the Modern Horizons set.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking that wasn't quite accurate, but I didn't care enough to look it up. Thank you, Mike. Just because somebody would bother us about it later. Well, actually, yeah, we know. Good old Ral. So yeah, that's a cool card. I'm glad that they made that hard enough to get to, but still get toable, if you know what I mean.
So what do you want? I knew we'd want to talk about that one. What do we want to talk about?
I want to talk about what are the creature color combination things.
Okay.
So I figure here in the gold section is a good place to do it.
Sure. So, I had set it to mythic rare. I'm gonna set it to all rarities and gold.
So wait a minute. Oh God, this has the commander cards in it too. No, that's gonna throw things off too much. Hang on, let me go up to the top two. All
I just set the
sets.
set to.
What?
I just put it to Bloomburrow.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm just looking at the gold cards working down. We've already seen blue, red. That's otters, and their whole thing is instants and sorceries. You
What?
know, the sort of prowess type stuff, right?
What just happened?
Uh,
Oh my God. The new card image gallery is such a pain sometimes. I hit page down, but the cursor was still on the products thing, so my entire card image gallery disappeared, and I was because it jumped down to the bottom to special guest cards. What? All right, red, green, gold. Here we go. Okay. Well, here's a 3-color card just right off the bat. What the hell is that about?
I think that's in one of the commander sets.
It is not.
So
It is.
it is not. Oh,
It is
the
in
haymaker.
boosters.
Oh, the
Yeah.
haymaker. So it's not a strict. I know we said it's Furry Ravnica. It is not completely beholden to that because it's not like the guilds, but most of the creatures fall
Yeah.
along those two
I've seen a
colors.
couple of these 3-color commanders because that's why they made them 3-color. Let's not beat around the bush.
Right.
Let's see. How
Okay.
about here's a legendary creature that is a rabbit. Burke. It's Byrke.
Birk,
Birk.
long ear of the law.
So
Puns.
for 4 a red. Jesus Christ. For 4 a green and a white, it's a 4/4 mythic rabbit soldier. And it has vigilance. So rabbits are green white. Got it. And it says when Birk enters, put up because it just says enters now. They got rid of enters the battlefield because that's just
Right.
extra words that are unnecessary. Which I actually like that. So when Birk enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. Ooh! This is only available in the starter kit. I just realized it says below that, but whatever. It's a color. It's the right creature in the right color, so we'll just go with it.
The rabbits are more focused on going wide, more than
Rabbits?
some of the others.
No.
Yeah, and I do think I have not been through every color, but if I recall correctly from the video, they said the rabbits have the highest amount of offspring cards. Wah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so offspring is not for a specific creature type?
I don't think
I
it
think
is
they're
exclusive.
concentrated more in certain areas, but they're not
Yeah.
like strict.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
So rabbits are green and white. Got it. I will never
Oh,
remember this.
Violet shared a link to a summary of the creature color combinations.
I mean, that is adorable, but I was going to do it by
Old-fashioned way.
Okay,
But yeah.
I just don't know whether you've seen it.
Can I get the image in just a tab? There we go. Okay, so bats are black and white. That I could remember because of Orzhov.
Their focus is on when you gain or lose life. So they have several things that are like when you gain or lose life during your turn, something happens. So, yeah.
Okay, well we'll get into that in a minute. I just want to
Okay.
get the,
I didn't know
the
if you
creature
wanted.
types.
Okay.
So
All right.
mice are red and white because mice are warlike little bastards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rabbits are green and white because rabbits have lots of babies.
Mm-hmm.
Rats, I guess. Rats are black and blue
Yes.
because rats are filthy vermin? Oh, that's just harsh. I mean, I guess somebody had to be the black and blue, but why did it have to be rats? Oh.
Well, it's the opposite of mice.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's racist. Uh, all right. Lizards are black and red. Not sure how I feel about that one, but okay. Birds are blue and white, which makes perfect sense. Birds have been blue and white forever.
Yeah.
Frogs are blue and green. Okay, I can see that. A lot of the frog-related cards I can think of are either blue or green or both.
Yep.
Otters are blue and red, which we talked about, which I'll never forget now because Ral is and has always been an otter. Raccoons are red and green because raccoons are insane. That makes sense. And squirrels are black and green because squirrels are evil bone magicians. Yeah, okay. Most of these make perfect sense.
The frog
They
one
did
makes
say-
sense because of all the Simic stuff.
Yeah.
They did say to try to distinguish between mice and rats in this setting. The rats form symbiotic bonds with insects. So that's a thing, yeah.
They're just more anti-rat propaganda from Wizards of the Coast. Rats are very sweet and adorable, you know, when they're not in the wild in New York City.
In the wilds of New York City.
Yeah, which is their natural habitat.
Taking pizza and everything from people.
Yeah, stealing pizza from mutant turtles. It's all normal. Yeah, that's why they're blue and black, because they're from New York City sewers. Oh, I get it now. All right. So now that that's out of the way, thank you for that link, Vi. Let's that was from Vi, right? Yeah. Let's I don't even know anymore. What do you guys want to talk about?
About Starseer Mentor. Why? Because it exemplifies what bats want to do, and because I like it. So, Starseer Mentor is in gold for 3, a white and a black. It is a 3/5 Bat Warlock.
See, that's not
Which
as
is a
funny
thing.
as Squirrel Warlock.
No. It's an uncommon with flying and vigilance. So a 3/5 flyer with vigilance, that's pretty good. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost life this turn, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So, but you might go, all right, well, that's okay. I think it's a very solid limited card. What really puts it over the top for me is the flavor text. Each star is given a name befitting its grandeur. This one is called Aurochs, the Night Eater. That one is called Blinky.
Yep.
There's
And
a
now
lot
I'm
of
going.
flavor text here.
I'm gonna go look for Blinky in the night sky. So, but
All right. Well, we were just told that the mentors are the signpost uncommon cycle for the set. So hey, let's just read all the mentors.
Okay, cool.
That'll give us a good vibe for how the each creature. What are they? Each critter. Each.
Critter's fine.
Oh, the search bar at the top can.
Yeah, you can search for mentor.
Search term. That's awesome.
Oh, dude.
I
mentor.
just put in mentor.
Gross.
And it works. Yes. Like
All
the
right.
first one. Yep. Hey, Dirk, do you like rabbits?
Dirk, do you like rabbits?
Apparently so. All right, Burrow Guard Mentor. For green-white, it has power and toughness of Star. Oh boy, this is going to be good. It is a rabbit soldier that is uncommon. Got it right this time. And it has trample. Burrow Guard Mentor's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control.
That sounds like a signpost. Limited
For
card,
rabbits, more babies
Play-
equals more better.
Play lots of creatures. They can be small, just play lots of them.
That's good stuff for a 2-drop uncommon.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With built-in trample.
All right. The Fire Glass Mentor is the lizard one. Do these all? Okay, they don't. They're all uncommon, but they don't all cost the same. But this one's a black and a red for a 2/1. Okay. At the beginning of your second main phase, which is apparently a change in this set, we'll get to that in a second. At the beginning of your second main phase, if an opponent lost life this turn, exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one. Until the end of turn, you may play that card. So, do the lizards care about making opponents lose life?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's just they just check to see if an opponent lost life, either through damage or any other effect. You'll also notice that the creatures that share a color, like the lizards and the bats, have certain
That's
similar
true.
triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it says second main phase instead of post combat main phase. You remember that?
Yes.
That's actually functionally different, because if you happen to use something like Relentless Assault to get another combat phase and another main phase, the other main phase it creates is yet another post combat main phase.
True.
So Fireglass Mentor can only trigger at the beginning of your second main phase of a turn. It won't also trigger at the beginning of other post combat main phases that you happen to create.
True. But this is what they're going with now instead of post combat main phase for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
I saw Tayback had tweeted that.
Twitted, yes.
It's twitted now.
I mean,
It will now
given
and
who owns
forever
it,
be
it's
twitted.
But so yeah, that's just a new thing that they're going with instead of post combat. They're just gonna go second and stop there. Now I wonder if that means they're gonna stop or ease up on printing things that give you additional main phases. Probably not.
Yeah, I doubt it. Extra combats are fun.
Yeah. All right, next.
Dirk already took one. So
Dirk, read the
Dirk,
frog.
you love Simic. Go do it quick.
Lily Splash Mentor for 2 green blue. It's a 4/4 frog druid that is uncommon and has reach. And it also says for 1 green blue, exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery.
So the frog,
what do frogs
the
do?
frog, the frog theme is kind of a little more out there, but from a mechanical standpoint, they do a couple different things. But from a flavor standpoint, some of them, maybe most of them, I'm not sure, have a limited ability to see the future, and they specialize in augurs and seers, and sometimes that leads them to do things like, well, like in ancient Greece, the king who gets the prophecy, your son's going to kill you. So he's like, okay, great, and tosses it off of a cliff, only for 30 years later for it to come back. Basically, they sometimes bring about their own demise. But they're just kind of tricksy sort of stuff, I think.
Yeah, I'm certain I've seen several, bounce and blink things that interact well with creatures that have enter the battlefield effects.
And I think they may also have
Chifuji
several
says-
gift cards.
Chifuji says frogs love bounce. They want stuff to leave the field but not die. Oh, and
Which
Donovan,
makes sense because bounce.
Yeah.
as frogs.
Donovan Bain said this is the best blue-green archetype they've come up with in years. Oh. Neat. Okay, so that would be why this is a signpost uncommon. Got it.
Yeah. The Plume Creed Mentor is the mentor for the birds. For 1, a white and a blue, this uncommon like the others, is a flying 2/3, a bird that flies. Go figure.
What?
Whenever Plume Creed Mentor or another creature you control with flying enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control without flying. So their whole thing is basically play more birds and play creatures with flying whether or not they are birds. So
Okay.
But I think I've seen not just this one, but other birds that have something where they affect
Lift
another
up.
creature without
Yeah.
flying. So
yes,
you get the most out
Oh.
of playing a mix.
right.
That's neat.
Have some stuff that isn't flying necessarily, but also you usually trigger it with cards that do have flying. So it encourages you to have a mix, but also the triggers. Well, we can get into the specific cards, but yeah, play a mix of both, kinship and
Oh.
whatnot.
Chat pointed out that this is a mentor for the birds and also for this one mouse here with a glider in the artwork. That's really cute. I had not noticed that. Thank you, because it's very small.
Was the Seaglade Mentor the example of Valiant that Dirk talked
It
about earlier?
was.
Yeah. Okay.
And we did the Starseer.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mike, tell us about the Stormcatch. Oh, that makes sense.
All right. Stormcatch Mentor is the blue-red one. For a blue and a red, it's a 1/1 otter wizard with haste and prowess.
Ooh.
And instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast.
I guess
That-
there just is it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. There just is it, but making all your instants and sorceries cost 1 less on an uncommon is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is it.
Okay.
Chewy, you should read Tidecaller Mentor.
Oh, I should? Okay.
You should.
Tide Color Mentor for 1, a blue and a black is a 3/3 rat wizard with menace. Ha! Remember menace? It has threshold. What?
Yeah, no grave symbol either. No tombstone symbol.
Thank goodness. That was kind of silly.
That was never a thing on Threshold card.
Oh, that's right. That was on things that cared about being in the graveyard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we're
Yeah,
taking it back.
That was on flashback, right?
Yeah, on the first flashback cards.
And incarnations, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was. I forgot about it being
And
on there.
Icarid. Yeah.
Freaking Icarid. All right, so threshold. Whenever Tide Color Mentor enters, if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Oh, okay. It's a 3/3 for 3 with menace, and has an almost boomerang. What is that? Non-land permanent. I don't know if a non-land permanent has its own little regular name, but that's kind of gross.
So they said that they, for a long time they avoided bringing Threshold back because they don't want people to constantly be looking through their graveyards and counting. But a couple sets ago in Caverns of Ixalan, we had cards that cared about was it Delve, where it was like how many
It was the Descent cards.
Descent,
Yeah,
right?
there we go.
Where some of them counted the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So they said, all right, let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring it back. So, and yes, it is just Threshold. It is not Threshold 7. It is just Threshold is 7. It is not a variable. So.
Oh, is it? Because it's a... I guess it was always an ability word, wasn't it?
I believe
I can't
so.
remember.
Yeah, it was when it very, very first started out. The rules about it just weren't as disciplined, but yeah, once it got straightened out, it was an ability word, and the number is always 7.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So there you go. But this card, again, is really good. Because it's a 3/3 for 3 with evasion. Right? Menace is that can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And then it has a bonus bounce. Like if you draw it late enough. Like this is gross and limited.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I will happily play especially early on, before you even have Threshold, I will happily play 4/3, a 3/3 with Menace.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is what we call a teaching card, where you have to teach newer players. You should have played this 4 turns ago and not waited for the bounce. Now you're going to lose. Like, like Kicker was on some of the early creatures with, pay more mana, they get bigger.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a 2/2 for 2, y'all.
Yeah. One of the earliest examples they talked about in-house playtesting of Kicker was with the Kavu Titan, where for a 1 and a green, it's a bear. But if you pay 3 more for Kicker, it comes in as a 5/5. And they found that the best thing every time was play it on turn 2. Just play it on turn 2 and just get in there.
And that's the story I was referring to when I said sometimes you just need a 2/2 for 2.
There you go.
I like to we're still on the same page after 2 months off.
Absolutely.
All right. Next up is the squirrel one. What's the squirrel one? I'm wrapped up in my cable. Someone read that.
That is the Vine Reap Mentor. Ooh, Vine Reap. Reap those vines. For a black and a green, so just 2 mana, it's a 3/2, which is pretty good. When Vine Reap Mentor enters or dies, create a food token.
Ooh.
Which helps you with it's not on here, and I'd have to forage. Thank you. So you with this, you get a 3/2 for 2 mana, which is very good. It's almost certainly going to trade with something, and you basically get 2 food. 1 when it comes in, 1 when it dies. And this one's quote is kind of somber and not all like blinky. It's just like, in youth we reap, in death we sow.
All
Meanwhile,
right.
we crochet. Yeah.
In middle age, we're miserable.
That's when we cross stitch.
Yeah, that sounds miserable to me. Yeah. No offense to anyone who cross stitches. You psychos.
And one more mentor.
One more mentor. Mike, read another mentor.
All right, last mentor. The one.
Mike, you can only read the mentor if you're going to actually come through the mic. Oh, there you are.
Huh?
You blinked out.
You blinked out.
Okay. All right. So the Wandertail Mentor is the red-green one. So for just a red and a green, you get a 2/2 Raccoon Bard with a mana ability, tap for a red or a green.
Ooh.
But also, whenever you expend 4, put a +1/+1 counter on Wandertail Mentor.
Oh, wow, that's really good.
It is.
Right? Like, I'm not tripping. Like, that's really good.
Yeah, you don't even have to do any extra work to get the +1/+1 counters. You just have to use the card.
Yeah. Wow. So on turn 2, you play your Wandertail Mentor. On turn 3, you play a land and then cast a 4-drop. Now you've got a 3/3 for next turn that you can either use for more mana or just beat with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to get bigger as the game goes.
Yeah. Even if you don't even have to use its mana for anything.
Yeah, like Mike
stuff.
said, you just play the card and it just does its thing. I like that. That's really solid design right there. Just like the other mana creature we saw earlier that could get bigger.
Mm-hmm. The offspring one, yeah.
Yeah. I love mana creatures that, stop being stupid. Like, at some
Yes.
point, you don't need that Llanowar elf, and it's just a stupid 1/1, so you use it to block something. But
Right.
I really love it when they give, early creatures, especially mana dorks, like, a reason to be around once you don't need their extra mana anymore. Nice. Okay. So that's what, the creature types do. So now what? Chat, what do you want us
Now-
to talk about?
I have a suggestion, but I will
Okay,
defer to the chat.
It'll take chat a minute.
Calamity beasts. These are the forces of nature that come in and all but one of them kind of wreck stuff, and then there's like one that's not too bad, and they're kind of the central antagonist, kind of, sorta. Turns out it's actually the Frog King. Spoiler alert. But if you search for elemental in the search bar, you'll pull up a couple things that are extra, but they're the legendary elementals. So, for example, in white, we have the one, like, not destroy everything one. Beza, or Beza, the Bounding Spring. For 2 and 2 white, is an legendary elemental elk. I believe all of these are mythic, and they have a special treatment if you want to look at those. It's a 4/5. So for 4, a 4/5. And when this enters, create a treasure token if an opponent controls more lands than you.
Ooh.
You gain 4 life if an opponent has more life than you.
Ooh.
Create 2 1/1 blue fish creature tokens if an opponent controls more creatures than you.
Ooh.
Draw a card if an opponent has more cards in hand than you.
Ugh. This is a hell of a catch-up mechanic here on this 4-drop. Especially in multiplayer.
4/5. Yeah.
Like, in multiplayer, you're probably gonna get like 3 of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
without having to set it up.
Yeah. Like, all right,
And
Dirk's got more creatures than me. Brian's got more cards in hand than me. Mike's got more life than me. And more lands than me.
I think that this one is great, and it is still, to me, one of the least interesting ones of these.
Oh, wow.
For example, Mike, look at Eluge, the Shoreless Sea.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I saw this in the Discord.
The Shoreless Sea is an elemental fish. For 1 blue, is a star.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Is a star with power and toughness, each equal to the number of islands you control. Okay. And whenever Eluge enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types for as long as it has a flood counter on it. Okay, the first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs a blue mana, and there's reminder text or a generic, a blue mana less to cast for each land you control with a flood counter on it.
That's kind of gross.
It is. So the first spell you cast each turn, not just your turn, but also during other people's turns, you don't have to leave as much mana open for counter magic or other interaction with
like
your
counter
opponent
spell
during
is back,
their turn.
baby, and you point
Yeah.
at your single flood counter, and your opponent goes, "That's gross." And
Yeah.
it just says, it doesn't say, it can't be less. It can't be less than 1.
Yeah.
So like you have free force spikes now. Like what?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is awful. I hate this card. Because it gets 1 when it enters, which, let's not forget, that makes it bigger. assuming you're not already
Yeah.
playing just islands and you put it on one of your,
Yeah.
literally anything else.
Yeah.
Well,
Now-
it still works great because that last effect is just based on flood counters. Even if you're playing a mono blue deck,
That's true. Yeah.
that's fine. You can be putting flood counters on stuff and getting the effect.
Yeah. Notice you can put flood counters on opponents' lands, but first of all, this only cares about flood counters on lands you control,
Yeah.
and second of all, it says those lands are an island in addition to their other types.
Yeah.
So you're not going to like lock them out.
Yeah. So doing this to an opponent's land is literally just giving them more mana flexibility. So don't do that.
Sure. Well, it says put a flood counter on target land, but it doesn't say that it has to be one that doesn't have a flood counter on it. So,
Well, but the ability counts lands with flood counters, not number of flood counters. So you do want
Right.
to spread it out.
yes, but you are not forced to put it on an opponent's land unless you just want to.
Yeah.
Like, hey, have a blue. Kinda, sorta.
I'm going to go ahead and say you should never do that.
I feel like this is a super blue card. First of all, I mean, look at all that blue in the mana, but also just like everything this represents.
Yeah.
This is just so blue. This is the calamity that brings the flood.
Buh.
And Chewy, do you want to talk about the calamity that brings the night?
Sure. This is Maha. It's Feathers Night. Wait, Maha, it's Feathers Night. Okay. Meaning the feathers that it has are the night.
Yes.
So it's Batman. Sorry, it's Owlman.
It is Owlman, yeah.
Owlman is a version
Watchman?
of Batman in... No, that was Night Owl.
Okay.
But Owlman is a version of Batman in another reality, I'm pretty sure. Isn't that the bad Justice League, whoever they were called? I forgot what they were called.
Legion of Doom?
No. The ones who were the Justice League from an alternate dimension where they were the villains.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure Owlman... The Crime Syndicate. Thank you, chat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Owlman. Anyway, doesn't matter. Maha, it's Feathers Night. For 3 black is a 6/5 elemental bird. 6/5 with flying and trample for 5. Yeah, all right. That's perfectly fair and balanced. It has ward of discard a card. Jesus Christ. Okay. And creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. That is sexy.
Like
it's especially sexy when you remember that this has built-in trample. So
yeah, if they do find a flyer to throw in front of it, it just runs over anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I like this one a lot. It doesn't have all like the words that the white one does or the blue one, but it doesn't need to.
It really doesn't. Yeah. That's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it has. There are many things that are different, but it has like a Spirit of the Night feel to it overall.
Yeah,
and that's cool too.
There is another creature, a mythic black creature that is not legendary, but it is an elemental, and it does have the calamity treatment. So I guess it kind of counts. Maybe. I'm not sure why they would do that, but whatever. It's the Rotten Mouth Viper, which sounds like a condition that I don't want. Rotten Mouth Viper for 5 and a black is an elemental snake. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. This spell costs 1 mana less to cast for each permanent sacrificed this way. So you can get it out cheaper and faster. Whenever it enters or attacks, put a blight counter on it. then for each blight counter on it.
Before you finish, it's going to be bad when they're blight counters. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never like happy joy counters.
Yeah,
but
like
no
flood
blight.
counters. You know, oh, something's an island.
Yeah.
You just know they've done it many times over the year. But blight counters, this is going to be bad.
Then, for each blight counter on this, each opponent loses 4 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. And yes, it does say each opponent, not the defending player, which I guess is important because this is whenever it enters. So right off the bat, you're getting a 6/6 that gets a counter, and everybody either pays 4 or discards a card or sacrifices a non-land permanent before it even does anything else.
And I gotta say, for 6 mana or slightly less than some sacrifices, like that's disgusting.
Yeah. And this one isn't legendary. So give this offspring. Wait. No. Ooh. Ooh.
No.
Ooh.
And Razorback said earlier, as I was reading Maha, he said that Rottenmouth Viper is not an okay card, and I didn't know what he meant. And now, now I know, and correct. That is not an okay card.
Yeah.
And it's for each blight counter. Oh my god!
Yeah. If you're really serious about it, you can slam this down pretty early with the help of, cheap mana rocks or cheap mana creatures that you make some mana
or food, because it's in black with squirrels.
Make it cheaper.
Yeah. Well, but I think Mike's point is, say you have Lana or Elf out, you tap the Elf for the mana, and then sack it so it counts twice. Right? I get where you're coming from with the food, but the food is not, and they'll make it cheaper, but
It's
Mike's way is even faster. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking like Mike. in the set, it's in the same color as the squirrels, who are apparently just dropping food all over the place, as squirrels do, because squirrels by and large are kind of stupid. So,
and of course, Chifuji reminds us Rottenmouth Viper doesn't even need to be cast. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find a different way to cheat the mana cost besides just Reanimator.
Yeah, the reanimation thing is like obvious.
Right. And then there's one other non-legendary one, and I just didn't see these before, and it's in red, and it's a hot cat, which for some reason just reminds me of Chewy.
Cause am I a hot cat?
Well, look at this and see if it doesn't remind you of your hair. Like look at especially the alternate art treatment.
The links? I don't see it, but apparently we've learned something about how Brian sees me.
Yes. Is this not what you guys see? Maybe I need to go to a doctor.
So, interestingly, this one is rare, whereas the others we've talked about were mythic. And there were a couple of uncommons.
Each color also has an uncommon.
Yeah, that we didn't talk about.
Uncommon elemental. But we're talking about the big boys.
But yeah, it's interesting that this one, that red doesn't have a mythic. It's just got this rare cat.
And again, not legendary. So,
Yeah.
That's weird. There's not... That's weird.
That is weird.
Is it weird?
It's weird. So the Sunspine Lynx, I guess I'll read it since it reminds Brian of me. For 2 red is a 5/4 rare, not mythic, elemental cat. Players can't gain life. Nice. Damage can't be prevented. Nice. And when Sunspine Lynx enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. Nice. Yeah, I like this card.
Just like just like the blue one was like, yes, we get it. You're super blue. This is red so much. They're like, how do we convince people this is a red card? And just everything about it is like, this is what red does. No, really.
Yeah. It hates life
Yeah.
gain, it hates damage prevention, and it has always hated non-basic lands.
Yeah. Yeah. This is your primer to red.
Yeah, that's all it needs is to like deal 1 damage to target thing and draw a card. You have to play it right the second. Now.
Yeah.
Shifuji said you play Sunspine Links at pre-release when you really want to eat before the round is up.
One way or the other, yeah.
Oh man. All right. So what? Oh my god. Okay. So as usual, there are a bunch of legendary. I mean, a bunch of elementals in green, but I mean, clearly we should talk about the big mama.
Yeah. Hey, Dirk.
All right, so the big mama is Lumra, Bellow of the Woods.
Lumra. Yeah. Like Mumra, but Lumra.
Ah!
Yes.
For 4
Ancient
and 2
forces
green,
of. Yeah.
it is an elemental bear that's legendary and has Star for power and toughness. We're going to get to that in a second. And has vigilance and reach. So, a very angry bear who can up and swat things from the sky. Lumra, Bellow of the Woods, power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Go
Makes
figure.
sense.
Except this one is non-land specific, just any land. When Lumra enters, mill 4 cards, then return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
That's disgusting.
There is a deck in standard that is going to immediately slot this in because there's an I think an elf where you pay 4 and sack it to return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield. Plus you've got all the lands that are like sack this to get a basic land, all that sort of stuff. Well, ooh, this set is doing something they haven't done in 2 years. It's rotating standard. So I'll actually have to see, because like New Capenna is out. Because remember, for some odd reason that I don't like, they made standard another year longer. And I feel like I've been playing against the same cards forever. But this is
'Cause you
actually going to
have.
cause a rotation. Yeah. So, but I'm pretty sure most of the key components are still there. So there's a deck that already does this, but this will prevent like jumping through hoops. This is just do this. Half your deck is going to be in the graveyard, and now you're going to be at like 20 mana
See,
and have a 20/20.
this one works well with the frog mentor, and if something can just give lands like power and toughness and whatnot, like make the lands like creatures.
Yeah, like Nissa or something.
Mm-hmm. Just be like, oh, you're all creatures, attack. Oh, you're all dead, that's fine. Just bounce
And
with the
there's
mentor.
There's the green enchantment, I think it's called Spelunking, that says if a land would enter the battlefield tapped, or all your lands enter untapped, basically. So, which means, yeah, the tools are there. This is just gonna slot right in.
Also, since Brian brought up rotation, we should point out there will be a rotation now every year again.
Yes.
It's just because they extended it from 1 year to 2. There was a whole year where nothing rotated.
Yeah. Until they make standard 4 years. But yeah.
Until they decide to screw it up again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, getting down to the end. We've only got one Calamity Beast left, and this is my favorite. Yes?
I didn't realize there was one outside of the monochrome.
Yeah,
okay.
there's one in gold.
Oh,
and listen to this text.
This one's stupid.
Yeah. this one's great because just the way the words are written on the card. Yigra, eater of all. For 3, a green and a black. It is a legendary elemental cat. It is a 6/6. For 5 mana, it's a 6/6. It has ward, sacrifice of food, which means if the opponent isn't in colors that make food, well, we'll get to that. Here's the next line of text. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types and have pay 2, tap, sacrifice this permanent. You gain 3 life. But again, I want to reiterate, other creatures are food to this. Whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Yigra, Eater of All. I was looking at this card with Sam, and she just got it. And she's like, that's amazing. I'm like, yes, it is. Just perfect example of I'm the predator, you're the prey. Just the simple line, other creatures are food, just makes my day. Because to this thing, everything is food. So, and how do
Top
you
of the food
target it?
chain.
You give up one of your creatures, or I guess a food token if you're in green and black or something. But yes, this is awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know how to send this to you guys. I can copy a message link here. I'm gonna give this to you guys in the in our Discord chat. But for those of you watching the video, the Mycroft posted this in the Discord. It's like, this is the opponent's board before you cast Yigra. Whoops. And this is the opponent's board after you cast Yigra. And for those of you listening to the audio version, it's 2 stills from an old Looney Tunes cartoon where there are 2 guys stranded on a desert island. And I think Bugs Bunny is there, and they're chasing him around. But at one point, they get so hungry that they look at each other and smile, and then the short fat one turns into a hamburger, and the tall skinny one turns into a hot dog.
Yeah.
And that is classic. It's from
That
Waikiki Wabbit. Yeah.
I just got an alert that the battery is low in my headset, and I am trying to find the cord. So if I all of a sudden stop talking, it's not because I've run out of things to say. That doesn't happen.
That will literally never happen.
Yeah. So
oh,
just. Oh, I found it. Hold on.
There was a. Oh yeah, someone pointed out we should mention the elk in green. The Gale Wind Moose for 4 green is an uncommon elemental elk. It's a 6/6 for 6. But it has flash, vigilance, reach, and trample. What?
All the things.
What?
Why did you pass turn with 6 mana up? Oh, no reason.
Just don't have anything to do. Your turn. But like, what?
I don't believe you.
This would have been a freaking mythic a long time ago. It definitely would have been a rare.
Years and years ago, yeah.
Much less long time ago. And now it's just a straight uncommon. Like, here you go. Also, yeah, wait a minute. Why does it say Galewind Moose, but it's an elk? That's not the same thing.
No, they're not.
Yeah, it's weird.
So, are we gonna do any more? Today. Someone
mentioned Dragon Hawk. which sort of seems like it's doing the Calamity Beast thing, like because it's a red mythic, it could be taking the slot of the red elemental one.
It could be. It's
Like
interesting.
from a set construction standpoint, it could be taking its spot. Is what I meant.
Yeah, I wonder if it's not because it's not an elemental, but story. Notice it's a story spotlight
Oh, it
card.
is.
So in the story, Ral is traveling with a band of heroes to find out why the Maha, the its feathers knight, is attacking villages, like it's looking for something, and the others are not sure what they're looking at, and Ral realizes that this is a displaced dragon from another plane on a world where there are no dragons. So when it somehow got here through an omen path or something, this world tried to turn it into a bird and didn't finish or something. So
It was
they
too
end up
strong for the magic of the plane.
and it's apparently like a lightning dragon because he and Ral and this dragon bird hawk thing kind of get into it for a while. It comes up later in the story, and I won't spoil. It's a good story. It's only 5 chapters long. Read it at some point, but that's why this is a story spotlight card. And the art, I like that. You're like dragon plus bird, yes.
Hmm.
I haven't read this. I haven't read this card. What's it do? Somebody?
Oh, I don't know.
Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest for 3 and 2 red. Legendary creature, Bird Dragon. That's mythic and is a 5/5 with flying. Whenever Dragonhawk enters or attacks, exile the top X cards from your library, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 4 or greater. You may play these cards until your next instep. At the beginning of your next instep, Dragonhawk deals 2 damage to each opponent for each of those cards that are still exiled.
So either play the cards or you shock each opponent.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Huh.
Was there anything else we wanted to get to this time?
I
Do we
mean,
want to talk? Do we want to talk about the cycle of the seasons that all have the paw prints, or do we just want to get to that on a later episode?
it's up to you guys. I'm still not in pain, so
Dirk, how you doing?
I'm getting a little tired, but
Do you want to talk about this cycle and then call it?
yeah, we can do that.
What what, what are
all
those
right.
called? Are they seasons or
Yeah.
yeah, season of the blank? Okay.
All right.
So so in white we have season of the burrow. For 3 and 2 white sorcery. They're all sorceries, obviously. Remember the blue one costs 6, and we said, hey, drawing 5 cards for 6 is pretty good. So they're not all the same cost. This is 5 mana. Choose up to 5 paw prints worth of modes. 1 print. Create a 1/1 white rabbit creature token. Pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
2 prints. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card.
That sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. 3 prints. Return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with an indestructible counter on it. I mean, I could see that last mode is great if you have something to use it on. I could just being like, nuke those 2 things. I don't like them, get them out of here. I don't care that you're drawing cards. Especially if I don't have another way of dealing with them, just just get rid of them. The last mode, the last mode, I guess the first mode is the one I'd probably choose when I just need 5 bodies or 2 or 3 in some combination with these other two to win the game. But these other 2 modes are so strong. Again, that last one, as great as it is, you really need something to bring back, and there will be games where you just don't have a target. So, but I can't. It's hard for me to imagine not nuking at least one thing with that middle ability. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty useful. The middle one, that is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
then
good.
we have seen Season of Weaving, and that brings us to black.
Oh, black is the season of loss. Because isn't it always?
Yes.
The season of loss. Do they all cost 5?
No.
No, the green
The
one
blue one
No.
costs
is more.
6.
The blue one costs 6.
Oh, the blue one is more too. Okay. So they all cost 5 or 6. So season of loss for 3 black. Again, you choose 5 paws. 1, each player sacrifices a creature. Nice. 2, draw a card for each creature you controlled that died this turn. Ah.
Oh.
I see what they did there. And then 3, each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. I like this card.
It's a good card. Simply choosing enough of the first one becomes a wrath. Choosing the second one, either after sacking some creatures or just after combat, may allow you to draw a bunch of cards. And the third one is, under the right conditions, you win the game. And like so many of the cards we've talked about, the Dragon Bird, some of the Calamity Beasts, each opponent, this set has a very, they are clearly keeping an eye on multiplayer. And it's not targeting, so it's each opponent loses X life, which is just gonna late enough in the game is just, and you all lose, 10 life or more.
Yeah, especially if I sacrifice 2 ahead of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can. Oh, and Donovan just said the thought that I was about to say is that the fact that drawing cards based on a completely separate event that has nothing to do with this card can be picked twice means you can load up on card draw.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Yeah, I like this card.
When I first saw this card, I almost wondered if the second ability and the third ability needed to be switched in terms of cost. But the fact that the last one deals loss of life puts it over the edge. So, yeah.
Violet says, "Why does Bird Dragon sound epic, but Dragon Bird just sounds like a little pipsqueak?" Yes.
I feel like I hear the opposite things from those phrases.
Actually, yeah, now that you mention it, I do too. Bird Dragon. Yeah, a bird dragon in my mind sounds like a very small dragon that just sort of tweets around, and a dragon bird is a big well, like we see in the card. Huh. There's something to be said here for the way our brains are wired, I think.
Yeah. And not to mention the English language, because, like,
Well, yeah.
order doesn't matter in some other languages. Like in Latin, it's all what forms are the words in. So,
Yeah, there was a
good
thing
old Latin.
that pops up every once in a while on social media that's like the English language has a weird hidden order that you put adjectives.
Yeah.
Because you always see, oh, a big brown dog, but you never see brown big dog because you sound like a psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Sorry, let's finish the seasons.
Yes.
So, who wants to read the red one? Mike, read the red one.
All right. The Season of the Bold. So
I love that show. It's been on a long time.
I was trying to figure out how to make the joke, but I couldn't get there. So this is another one that costs 5, and the things you get to choose from. So the one worth 1 paw print says create a tapped treasure token. Okay. The one worth 2 paw prints says exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play them. So 2 cards, you get till the end of your next turn. And the one that's worth 3 paw prints, until the end of your next turn, whenever you cast a spell, Season of the Bold deals 2 damage to up to 1 target creature.
That is really bizarre that
I like that a lot.
That this sorcery in your graveyard, like, next turn can still be dealing damage to people.
This card I feel like has the most setup of all of them. I mean, I know the blue one can draw you a bunch of cards, but this one of all of them is the most like wait till next turn with all these effects. I mean, you could, if you have enough mana, the turn you play this, you could turn around and do whatever. But the fact that you're untapping with some treasures, the fact that you've already paid 5 to play this.
Yeah. Okay, wait a minute.
Next turn.
Donovan pointed out it says it's target creature, and you have to target that creature when you play this, which means that creature has to still be there next turn if you're going to continue using it. Right? No.
Up to 1.
It isn't a target of the creature. Isn't a target of Season of the Bold. It's a target of that delayed triggered ability. Well, that triggered ability that gets set up.
Oh, so you don't pick the target until it triggers.
Yeah.
Although
it's that triggered ability that starts with whenever you cast a spell. That's what targets the creature.
Although interestingly, Season of the Bold is the source of the damage. It says Season of the Bold deals 2 damage.
So for anything that cares, it's a red sorcery with a converted mana cost of 5 that's dealing the damage.
But you can't counter it at that point.
No.
Unless you can counter an ability.
Yeah, it's not on the stack anymore. It's a spell. But that's the information that you use to determine the characteristics of the source of the damage if it matters.
Oh.
But
that makes it really weird.
But okay, let's say you cast Season of the Bold, you pick the 3 paw option, and then next turn you want to like cast, like play 2 creatures and zap something. It still says up to 1 target creature, so you have to target the same creature.
No, that's there in case your opponent doesn't have any creatures, so it doesn't force you to target your own.
Oh, so
whenever you cast a spell.
Okay, so you can cast like a 3-drop creature and shock their 2/2, and then cast another like 3-drop creature and shock their 1/1.
Yes.
Okay. This is a very weird card. Donovan says, "Hey Mike, does that mean this benefits from Firesong and Sunspeaker giving your sorceries lifelink?" Oh Jesus, who even knows?
If Firesong and Sunspeaker were on the battlefield when Season of the Bold resolved, that means that means the last known information about Season of the Bold when it was still a spell on the stack was that it had lifelink. So
okay, so you want to make sure that this Firesong and Sunspeaker is out, then cast this, and then even if they get nuked before your next turn, you're still good. But if you play this and the next turn play Firesong and Sunspeaker, it's too late.
That's my interpretation, yes.
Good way to qualify that. That's a very lawyerly answer.
It was, wasn't it? So,
Yeah.
do not take what Mike is saying to be 100% true just in case, because this is very weird.
This is weird. Yeah.
So ask a judge, and then if they give you an answer different than Mike's, ask the head judge.
Be sure to cite your sources like Mike.
Yeah, I'll be like, but Mike said.
Definitely
got
use
one.
that reason if Perlman happens to be the head judge. Definitely use that reason. He'll love it.
Oh, for God's sake, please do. Be like,
We
Mike
got-
from the
we got
Maniple
one
said.
more.
He'll be like, what is that guy now?
We got one more to go, and Dirk's probably about to fall asleep.
We don't care.
And
It's not like Dirk has to go to work in the morning. Screw him.
the red one is
Gotta
the red
take care
one
of
is
kids in the
weird.
morning is the thing.
Yeah, but you don't have to be awake for that.
Season of Gathering is the last one. It is 4 and 2 green, so grand total is 6 mana. It's a mythic sorcery. As the other ones say, up to 5 paws worth of modes, blah blah. Alright, 1 paw. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. It gains vigilance and trample until end of turn. Solid.
Yeah, I like it.
2 paws. Choose artifact or enchantment. Destroy all permanents of the chosen type.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm using when Mike does his the red one.
Yeah, that red one.
Red commander deck.
Oh, Fumiko.
Fumiko.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Mike, enchantment! Alright. Last one, 3 paws. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control.
So if you have a 6/6, you're drawing 6 cards.
Cool.
And if you have a 6/6 and you first put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, you're drawing 8 cards.
Yeah, remember again, top to bottom. So those counters will be on by then.
Yeah, and chat
but
pointed
just-
out that none of this targets, or none of this targets. So, for instance, that 1 paw ability, you can counter, or you can target creatures with Shroud. You know, in case you have creatures with Shroud. And also,
Taking it back.
And also, if like someone makes you get rid of the creatures you were gonna put counters on, it won't counter the spell because it's not targeted. So that's neat.
Yeah.
And
the
you
fact
have
that
enough
second
you can
ability-
destroy artifacts and enchantments.
True.
Mhm.
There's some decks that are just going to be like, wow, really? Because that's all my deck.
And sometimes where you can choose. Oh wait, okay. Since this happens one at a time, no, that won't work. I was gonna say if there's an artifact or something that when it dies it spits out more artifacts, but there won't be time for that to trigger, right?
Correct.
So choosing artifact twice won't get both waves of it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But now, for the order of this, say you choose the second mode saying enchantments, and then the third mode, if you have a creature, and because Wilds of Eldraine is still a thing, if you have a big creature, but it is cursed, has the cursed roll, which means its base power and toughness are 1/1. That's an enchantment token, right, Mike?
Yeah, those are
So-
enchantment tokens that rolls.
So the rolls will be destroyed, and your 10/10 won't be a 1/1 anymore. It'll be a 10/10
Yeah.
for the
Nice.
last ability. Ah,
All right. Yeah, so those are all pretty good.
yeah,
There wasn't like the red one is freaking weird, but
yeah.
okay, I'm
None
gonna
of them
say
are-
the red one's probably the worst one. Just because it's bizarre, and as Brian pointed out, it takes a lot of setup compared to the others. But
It's it's not going to save you if you draw it and you need it. It's not going to save you that turn, probably, unless you just have a million things you can play right away.
Yeah. Whereas
But
the rest of these have some sort of element of, oh, thank God.
yeah, but
Yeah.
none of these are bad. The red one may be the most situational, but none of these are bad.
So let's type. Here we go. Real quick, let's look at the, because a couple people in the chat have mentioned it. Go up to all sets and change the type to Planeswalker, and let's look at the reprints of old Planeswalkers as if they went to freaking Bloomburrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Because for God's sake, heaven forbid, we don't show off the blatant cute cash grab thing.
I mean, it is pretty darn blatant. Yeah.
And pretty darn cute.
Yes.
So Elspeth is an adorable little mouse. Look at her. And these are... Some of these are in Commander decks, it looks like, but I think these are all in Commander... the Collector boosters. I think. I don't know.
I guess.
We're giving the public what they want. Elspeth is an adorable little mouse. Look at her. With her...
And it's the Elspeth Sun's Champion, which is still my favorite Elspeth.
It's the
That was
6-cost one from original Theros,
I was
right?
gonna say, that was the second Elspeth, right?
Yes. Elspeth Terrell was the first one.
Yeah.
And then this was the first one with an emblem, I think. Or did they retrofit her previous one with an emblem?
Yeah, Elspeth Tyrell got errata to use an emblem for the last
Oh, this
ability.
is the third Elspeth. Okay, yeah, the first one was Knight Errant, not the full name. That is correct. Thank you. I was that some about that didn't seem right, but I couldn't remember well enough to call Brian on it.
But
damn it, Brian.
I couldn't remember that.
This one of the first ones to make them go, hey, can we make an expensive planeswalker that doesn't cost more than 4, like Jace, but make it competitive? And the answer was yes.
Yeah, definitely.
This thing saw lots of play. +1, spit out 3 dudes. What?
Yeah. I remember we lost our minds when we saw that.
Yeah, and it held up.
All right, so then we've got Jace the Fox Sculptor.
Mm-hmm. Still trippy that he's here, since of what he represents.
What do you mean, what he represents?
Just him being the Mind Sculptor, like how
the
big
card
a card
itself.
that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Narset Parter of Veils is a. I don't remember who Narset is.
Narset is one of the people from Tarkir.
Yes.
And she, in one timeline, became a Khan. And then when the dragons were restored, she was a disciple of Ojitai. And upon reaching essentially his level, because she has some form of ADHD, she not having a higher height to ascend to actually unlocked her spark, and she became a planeswalker and realized she could travel the vast multiverse. She's usually like blue, red, and white. This is the mono blue version from War of the Spark, where you had every planeswalker, and some of them were lower rarities. So I think this was originally an uncommon.
It wasn't uncommon, but it became like a serious legacy card because of the static ability.
Yeah, its static ability of each opponent can't draw more than one card each turn. Earlier today, I was playing a brawl game on Arena with Tasha, and this is in there. So
neat. All right then.
And
black,
Liliana is
Liliana of the Dark Realms.
Yes, the most underappreciated Liliana.
And that is a squirrel, right? Not a rat?
Squirrel. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a squirrel with really long ears.
Yeah.
So I thought she was a rabbit until I saw the tail.
She looks very upset.
Well, it's Liliana of the Dark Realms, so yeah.
Yeah. Are there none in red?
Apparently not.
Looks like it.
There are some
That's a
there
ripoff.
are some non-planeswalker cards that get this treatment. So there may be some creatures, but there's no red planeswalkers.
Yeah.
But there is Nissa.
Yeah, Nissa, who shakes the world, mind you, is feeling very froggy.
Yes, I like it.
So that's silly. Oh my god, there's more down here. Okay, so Domri is a porcupine?
Porcupine, yeah. They did like there's no foxes in here, so for Jace, so there are some
Oh, that's true,
that
yeah.
don't line up.
Garrick is a what in the hell is Garrick?
I think a badger.
I think that's a badger,
I think
yeah.
that is a badger. You right. So this is Garrick, Cursed Huntsman. Domri was Anarch of Bolus.
Yeah.
Which was that
Also
War of the
from
Spark? That was War of the Spark, right?
that was War
Yeah.
of the Spark.
Yeah.
Garrick Cursed Huntsman, I think, was from the original Eldraine set.
That sounds right.
This is the big expensive one.
There's Ral, obviously. Tomio, field researcher, is a rabbit. Oh. Donovan said Narset is a red-wattled lapwing. I missed that. Red-wattled lapwing. I don't know if Donovan was being serious or being funny there, but either way, we'll go with it.
I could tell she was a bird. That's what I had.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Tommy is definitely a wabbit, obviously, with the... I mean, they're rabbit folk. Like, what did you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of started out that way.
Freaking Teferi Time Raveler.
So I saw this in an article. Not only is he a bird, but he is a bird that is only found on the African continent. So they were trying to stay true to his culture there.
I recognize this bird. Oh, Chad, he's a secretary bird. Oh.
That's right.
That makes sense, yeah.
And there's one more.
And yeah, poor Karn. Karn, the great creator, because
he looks
because he's an artificial being, I assume, is a tree.
Which I don't know how to feel about that because trees are alive, but he does not look happy.
He looks very confused. Like he walked here and now he's going, hold up. Poor Karn.
Yeah, he does not look happy.
He just cannot catch a damn break, can he? But all right, so there you go. That's the what's it? Imagine Critters Planeswalker cards. Yeah. I really like the Garrick Badger. The rest of them I'm indifferent to, but I just like a really good pissed off badger. Like, I remember in not the Disney Wind in the Willows, but the other one that nobody remembers. There was a badger and like an army of I forget what kind, or a big group of I forget what the bad animal was in that, had taken over some place, and in order to scare them out, they made them believe that an entire army of badgers was coming to get them. And like a whole army of badgers in like with weapons and shields and stuff terrified me as a child. And they were the good guys.
Go up to treatments. Take off the planeswalkers and switch it to every creature, every card type, and under treatments, select borderless.
Okay.
Because all of these, what if they were animal cards, I kept seeing the borderless treatment. Except for Ral, and he doesn't count because he's actually in the set.
Okay, so there's Ink Eyes,
Yeah,
who's still a rat.
yeah,
Maronar,
yeah,
still a rat.
yeah. A lot. Once you get past the humans, a lot of these are just the ones that you would expect. But there's alternate art for like
Oh,
Rat Colony and Relentless Rats.
Chatterfang is a squirrel. Ant
Yeah,
Queen!
Ant
Holy
Queen.
crap, look
Ri-
at the art on that Ant Queen. Someone stole her smoothie.
that thorax is
Oh my god.
yeah.
I don't think that the wolves could stop her now. Look at that.
No, no, they can't. And look at that art for Birds of Paradise.
Oh yeah, that's really neat. If
Yeah,
you have no idea what we're talking about with the Ant Queen, don't worry. It's been God, that was in our like second or third year, I think. It's been a long time since we randomly had a conversation whenever Ant Queen was printed the first time about the Ant Queen going to get her smoothies or going to get her a smoothie and something about wolves. I don't remember. I just remember that it was hilarious and the Ant Queen and her smoothie has lived on ever since. Oh, we should point out in with Lumra. Also, I missed it. Shiro subbed for the 13th month and said, "Hooray, over a year," and I just missed it. I'm sorry.
and Gilda Goose is next to Lumra. That's a reprint. But what about Lumra?
I forget which of these arts. When I love it that there's been a lot of chat, but that means I can't scroll back and find this one thing. But I think it's the showcase version by Mitsuhiro Arita. I think that sounds right. This is the original artist for like some Pokemon cards. I don't remember the specifics because I don't care about Pokemon in any way. Hey, Chifuji, say that again, would you? Damn it. What was while you're typing? The original Pokemon cards artist. Oh. Well, like all of them? Are you serious? Jesus.
I don't think the same person did all of the original ones, but there
Okay.
was
But a bunch
there
of
was
them.
only a handful of artists.
The one that I see all the time when people are talking about this is the original art for Charizard. See, the one that everyone knows.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is the first Magic card that I'm aware of. That it has to be, or else people wouldn't be losing their damn minds. So that's neat that we got like the original Pokemon card artist to do this terrifying ass bear. But anyway, what else? Squirrel Mob. Oh yeah, all right.
Elvin Tudor.
No, that's a special guest.
Oh, sorry.
Baleful Strix is still an owl. Yeah, okay. These are all things that make sense. Derevi
A lot of these
Imperial
next
Tactician
ones-
is getting a reprint here. That's cool. Remember Derevi?
Yes, I do. He was one of my first commander cards.
Well, he was one of the first commander cards. Wasn't he in the first round of commander decks?
I think he was, yeah.
Then there's... No, that's Domri. Garrick.
Ishai Ojutai Dragon Speaker.
Oh, yeah, that's another one that's a bird still.
Because they're a partner. Yeah.
Oh, God. Who are they a partner with? Did that get
Well,
reprinted?
partner just mean they don't partner with any specific one. Just means you can have two with partner. So that's definitely a reprint.
Quain Itinerant Meddler. I have no idea who Quain was. Or even what set that's from, but it was a rabbit wizard, so...
Mm-hmm. And they're pulling a strawberry out of a hat.
A very large strawberry out of a very small hat.
Kaikar Winds Fury is absolutely a reprint. because I remember this card.
Yeah. I mean, I think they all are reprints.
Yeah.
The ones that say Imagine Critters.
Yeah.
Queen is officially from Bloomburrow. They were in a it was in a Commander product originally. Okay.
There we go.
Gotcha. Who the hell is Ms. Bumbleflower? What?
That is one of the commanders for the commander set for this set. It the Gitrog monster is still a frog. But he looks more like a frog here than he does on Innistrad.
And he looks so happy to be a giant frog horror.
He does. Have we seen Vren the Relentless before? I feel like that's from something.
Maybe? I literally cannot keep track anymore.
Okay. Zena is new, and that's the one that gives creature spells you control. You cast have offspring too.
That's gross. Vren is new, Razorback said, so.
Okay.
So no. Why is it a new card that's only in collector boosters? I swear to God, I hate what Wizards does.
And then there's 2 more in artifacts. We have a reprint of Frogmite that actually looks like a frog.
Oh my God, it's a frog made out of wood.
Yes.
That's a special guest too, not an Imagine Critters, but you know, Brian
It
can't
started
read cards, so.
It started as a prototype for a frog diving suit, but the internal mechanisms didn't leave room for the frog.
I hate it when that happens. And then the other one Brian was getting at was a reprint of Sword and Fire and Ice.
Yep.
Which is, you know, neat. I guess. A little weird.
I feel like it's been outclassed by some of the later swords, but it's iconic. So.
Oh, just that art of Vren is in the collector boost. Oh, because I switched it to borderless because Brian made me. Okay.
Yep.
I really hate all of this. There's literally too much to keep track of unless it's your job or your hobby. Because I'm sure there are a bunch of people listening to this going, I keep track of it. Well, good for you. That means you spend too much time thinking about Magic. That's okay. We all spend too much time thinking about stuff that there probably shouldn't. Like I spend too much time thinking about ice cream. Anyway, all right. Let's be done with this.
Yes.
Because now it's been well over 2 hours, and I'm afraid we are gonna lose Dirk for real.
Probably not just Dirk at this point. So.
Yeah, but I mean lose him like he gets lost, not he leaves for the night.
Dirk, do you know where you are?
No, where am I? I'm in a field somewhere.
Well, you've got good Wi-Fi in that field, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts then,
because I got stuff I got to do tomorrow.
Yeah. Final thoughts then.
I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks. I actually will not be here next week because my family's going on a fun trip, and I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, there's other things that I don't want to talk about just yet. It'll probably come up a little bit later in the next couple weeks, but we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks.
That's ominous.
So, like it's potentially good stuff, but it's things that I don't want to go into detail just yet because we'll just have to see what happens first before I get a chance to talk about it. So,
fair enough.
But I know I'm being very cryptic and everything, but yeah, I'm next week's going to be a lot of fun. I'll tell the boys all about it. I'll take pictures, and then school's not that far around the corner. So that is my final thought for the evening.
All right then. So you out?
Yeah. I don't have a lot to talk. It's nothing specific. I'm very tired. I have to get up early because my daughter goes to reading camp. So
There's a camp. You know what? Never mind. Go to bed.
Good night, Dirk.
all right, good night, guys.
Night, sir. The hell
Well,
is
I'm
reading
doing.
camp? Like what?
Well, there's all sorts of camps. Sam's been to a couple writing camps. She went to one last year. She went to one this year, and she felt very heard at this one. And I think this year's writing camp was absolutely one of her favorites. I I guess reading camp is learning skills to read, but I don't know. Um, when you have kids, part of your job for the summer is finding things for them to do, I feel like. So luckily, and we keep Sam plenty busy, and luckily she seems to enjoy a lot of it. We tried a cake decorating class last year that we thought would be lots of fun, and she said it wasn't her favorite. She felt like they didn't teach her anything. It was just kind of like we're just gonna decorate some cakes, and everything was supplied. It wasn't really about learning how to do anything. It was kind of just busy camp. So, but uh, my family's doing okay. Went to Jamaica, made it back okay. I had a good time. And then we did go to a celebration of life for my grandmother 2 weeks ago. She lived to be 102 and had a very good life and left a lot of people missing her, but very thankful for, well, the fact that we exist, among other things. And she was always a very talented artist, and it was really sad to see her go. But otherwise, we're all doing just fine over here. So just chugging along. Someone, I think Chifuji asked if anyone's doing the pre-release this week, and I'm going to try. And Sam is actually at a camp, has been at a camp since Sunday, in the mountains. And before she left, we were looking at cards, and she said she thought she might want to go. So I'll talk to her about that when she gets home. She may be like, I don't feel like it right now, but I'm looking into it. I'm thinking about it. Mike, are you gonna go, or you have other plans with Ashley?
We have other plans. There's a craft class in Raleigh that we're going to go to.
Okay, but that's it for my final thought. So I, as seeing what time it is, and I have to finish getting this motion filed. I'm gonna say goodnight to you guys as well. And if I do go to a pre-release, I'll report back on the next episode of the Mana Pool, whenever that is.
Yay.
So, yay! Good night, guys.
Night, B.
Good night.
Well, I guess it's us.
Yep, it's just us. And it is quite late, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time. But, yeah, I do really like the Redwall magic. My brother and I both loved the Redwall books as a kid. I think I might have started with the prequel one. It's like the first one I read. But still, I mean, it didn't ruin anything. They were awesome. And we kept up with them for a long time. Yeah, I'm not going to make it to a pre-release, but I'll be sure to enjoy these on Arena since I've been doing that more often. Jafuji recommends the comic Mouse Guard. I have heard of Mouse Guard. I haven't checked it out yet, though. So I'll try to remember that. Something else magic related that I saw on Facebook either yesterday or this morning, I don't remember, is that there's going to be like a 2-part Secret Layer, a Universes Beyond crossover with Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Because heaven forbid something exists that people like that they don't make money off of.
The thing is like the cards look good, and they picked some good ones, like not super amazing chase ones, but I think I'm gonna get it.
amuses me that much.
You're so cute.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any final thoughts. Everything I would bring up here, I mentioned in that where we've been for the last 2 months thing that we recorded before the show. Which again, if you're listening to this not live, then you should go listen to that because it got posted first. But I guess I played Balatro, I think is how you say it, on stream. The one stream I've been able to do since this stupid kidney stone thing started. And it's a roguelike deck builder, but built around poker. So, like, the things that you upgrade are, like, you can make the payouts for the different poker hands better. Or you can add certain extra multipliers or extra chips or whatever to your cards. Or you can have jokers, which are the big things that modify stuff. Like, the one run that I won, I changed a bunch of my most of my clubs, I think. Most of my diamonds and some of my clubs. Sorry, most of my spades and some of my clubs, or maybe vice versa, into hearts. I had a joker that said every time you play a hand, or for every heart card that you play in a hand, you get extra multiplier for it. I had built up the payout for my flush, for the flush poker hand, to like level 5 or 6 or 7 or something. And I was getting a couple extra multipliers from extra jokers that I had, so that, like, I played against one of the bosses. Everything is essentially, you have to beat the score, and the score just gets bigger as you go. But every third one is a boss that has some sort of effect. Like, every fourth card you draw is face down, or something stupid and horrible like that. Or, like, all heart cards are debuffed. Which luckily I didn't hit once I went all in on hearts. But I just played a 5-card, hand of hearts that was a flush, and got like 70-some thousand points, and completely destroyed whatever score I was supposed to get for the boss. And it was like, you win! I went, are you serious? Like, and yeah, it's your standard, like, deck building roguelike, but because it's built around poker, it's slightly more intuitive in a way, because you start with a regular ass 52 card deck,
Right.
and you can add or change the cards in your add other cards to your deck, or change the ones that you've got. And there's all these systems working together. And like I said, I found the sweet spot and went all in on the hearts and won the run. And I was like, yay! Because I didn't know that was the end. So yeah, it is really cool. It took the internet by storm, I think last year during the Steam, what's it called, Next Fest, where, like, new indie games are highlighted, and everyone lost their mind about it. And yeah, I finally played it because I didn't want to go back to Final Fantasy V, just in case I was having some sort of, in case I had pain and had to stop the stream suddenly. I didn't want to be in the middle of, Final Fantasy. So I was like, we'll just play Balatro. I'll give it a try. It'll be cool. It was very cool. So I want to thank Cardboard Samurai, who bought that for me however long ago, and was like, hey, Chewy, I think you'll like this. I was like, I know I'll like this. So I have to stay away from it because I'm trying to play all these other games. But it's really cool, and I highly recommend it. Yay. But all right then. So I guess all that's left is to thank everybody for sticking around. I'm very sorry that not only that, you know, the show has been missing for so long, but I've barely streamed during all of that because, you know, I was at the hospital with Renee, and now I've got freaking kidney stones and pain could come at any moment. And like everything sucks. But I appreciate everyone who's still here and who showed up for the live recording of this tonight. And everyone listening to this. It was completely unintentional that my content creation would just completely stop. Sorry about that. But I'm not going to say, like, we're back, because I still have a kidney stone. And again, we go to record next week and I could be getting stabbed in the back, in which case we're not doing the show. So, because I love you all, but I'm not going to sit here and try to, like, not pretend I'm not getting stabbed in the back for the purposes of content. Yeah. So yeah, go if you've got Twitch or Amazon Prime, then you've got a sub. You should probably go throw that at me on Twitch, pretty please. Because that's one of the other downsides of not streaming very much for so long, is I didn't hit the threshold for Twitch to pay me last month.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I've been missing, you know, lots of dashing because of the pain and because of taking care of Renee. And so, yeah, this is a hard couple of months here financially for me. So patreon.com/themanapool. Get the Twitch sub. Go, if you buy stuff on humblebundle.com, use my what's it called, my partner link or whatever. All of that's down in the links down below all the time. I really appreciate it, but now I super appreciate it. Speaking of Patreon, let me tell you about our mythic lifeguards, who are Al, Kim Ho, Scuzzo, John Parker, Jake Jansons, Beardy Man, Timu Hellas Haryu, Jason Kaus, Casey, who also loves Balatro, Jason Doan, ALK Alters, and Andrew Odie. Yay. Thank you all so very much. And everyone else at every tier, and everyone listening and watching, and just all of that. I appreciate it so much, and I apologize. I did, Mike, you know what I did for like 2.5 hours today?
What's that?
I got back to work on the Lord of the Rings project.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had a rough, like, end of the year last year and sort of dropped it. And then I had a different kind of rough beginning of the year this year and sort of dropped it. And I got back to it. And then all of this crap happened. So, but yeah, I got through another, like, 2 chapters. Yeah, chapter and a half today. But it's going to be slow going because I've got cards in folders everywhere. I was going through, like, 6 different places. Like, I know there's a card of this. Oh, it was in the last March of the Ents folder. What the hell is it doing there? That's clearly from the beginning. Whoop. It was just a large pain. But I got to read about Merry and Pippin being dragged along by orcs, and I got to read about them meeting Treebeard. So that's always good. But yay! That's nice to get back onto that and feel normal again for part of the day.
Good.
Okay, so
Glad
do what?
said good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, it was. I was just sort of sitting here going, what do I do before I dash? Like, I'm feeling productive, but I don't have anything to... And I looked over at my stack of Lord of the Rings books, and I went, holy crap! Yeah! Also, I've gotten some odds and ends posted recently, too. I think I only ever posted 1. I've got like 3 more that need to go up. Son of a... All right, we'll get to that. But anyway, so this has been episode 702. We are back. It feels good. It feels right. And let us know what you think of Furry Ravnica. You know, what's your favorite critter? favorite. They're not using tribe anymore. What's the word? Kinship? Is that it? Kindred. Yeah, what's your favorite? No, that doesn't work in this. What's your favorite critter type? Damn it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kindred? Sounds like I'm asking you a really bizarre question. And you should back away and call the authorities.
Asking some question about your Vampire of the Eternal Struggle LARPing or whatever.
Right? Wow. Okay, then. But this has been, as I keep saying, episode 702. Thank you all so very much for joining us. And seriously, don't get kidney stones.